Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Friday breakdown, and I hope everybody's doing well, enjoying their time, having fun on this Friday. I certainly am. A lot of things happening and moving in the metaverse, um, in the NFT verse, if you will, and the crypto art scene. And so, we had a lot going on this past 3 days actually, but nonetheless, we able get to our weekly breakdown as we always do. We got some great art for you today. I stumbled upon this artist's work uh, literally today. Actually, I was scrolling through Foundation, and you'll see why. But first off, let's get rid of the starting soon in the media. um, and you know how we do it, do the little intro thing. But yeah, so if you guys ever want to get in contact with me and talk art, you can tag me in the Metakey Discord and I Duat Residency channel over there, and I'll respond to you. Or if you'd like to get in contact with me on socials, you can tag me at Anubis underscore 3100 over there, and I'll respond to you over there. I'm pretty responsive on socials. But anyways, let's move on. As you can tell from the title of the stream, we're gonna be looking at the artist Condo today. This is her Twitter profile. Go follow it. Go say hello. I think they're mainly a photographer for photography work based out of New York, and their work is really great. I stumbled upon their still life, so they have a few minting locations, but for this stream, we're just gonna be looking at a specific collection, on their foundation, a collection world, if you will. And yeah, so their foundation link is right here. You just click on it. It takes you to this, and as you can see, she has created quite a lot, 133, like quite a lot. And so as you can probably tell, a lot of it is already, as you can tell, a lot of it is sort of still lifes and photography, floral photography. But what I wanted to talk about today was this collection right here, the still life collection, just because I think there isn't a lot of art that sort of utilizes the same methods and techniques that you sort of learn in art school and that have been utilized by like the fine art society, fine art industry and world, right? And I mean, personally, I view it as like and this is how we get to start to see more still lifes make their way in the evolution of still life. And so within this collection right here is its own collection, its own contract. That's the cool thing about Foundation's new contract thing, is its own contract known as still life right here. And you can, if you click on it right here, there are 3 holders, 17 tokens minted so far, and yeah, oh sorry, 17 transfers, 0 still lives. I think that's because yeah, one is in the foundation market. And so it's a collection of 8 works so far. I believe one is already bought and the rest are up for sale. And so I think we actually have enough time to look at all of them today, just because it's like still life's, there isn't a lot of like, well, there is some deep symbolism with still life, but there isn't a lot of heavy deep symbolism, and so we do have the time to be able to talk about all 8. And yeah, so we will start with, I don't understand why I know why Foundation did this, because I opened them in the wrong sort of direction, if you will. There we go. We're chilling. And so still life here. The good thing about this Foundation collection is they have a whole description tab and activity tab. Even I myself, if you allow me for like a quick chill, in my collection, I have a description as well. And this is new. This wasn't here a couple of days ago, and so having an activity tab is actually quite nice. But yeah, and so the description says voyages between painting atelier and drawing studio. And so for those curious what a painting atelier is, it's essentially just like a painting studio. It's where you go and you paint, essentially. A lot of ateliers tend to be drawing, like, school, sort of like they function like drawing schools, where you go to an atelier to learn how to draw correctly, how to paint correctly. And also, if you hear this like swirling sound, I got a fidget spinner out of a fucking Kinder Egg, and so it's actually quite conducive to thinking about art while I spin this thing, and so you might hear a lot of spinning. But yeah, and so this is just, you know, trip between the painting studio, or the painting studio and the photo studio. And so we are staring at still life 1, and unfortunately there is no information. Why do people do this? I want to know the size. Well, we can easily find the size just through when we hit the IPFS, as we always do, but it's like, would have been nice to get at least some sort of description to understand what it is. But I mean, technically you also don't really need to when you're describing still lifes, just because still lifes have a very, that's a really good photo, have a very known symbolism, right? And then most still lifes are sort of treated as memento moris, right? Or the inclusion of flowers. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was flowers or you know, sometimes food, but most of the time if it was the inclusion of a flower in a still life painting, it would essentially be a memento mori. And for those who are curious what a memento mori is, I believe it's the Latin word for memento. I was gonna be like, it's the Latin word for memento mori. Oh, it's the Latin word for reminder of death. I think it made its way around the Renaissance time, and it just, usually it's like either by skulls, but it's become known just through association and then through just later use that, I'm trying to find if there's like a picture of it fucking here, memento mori, still life. These are sort of over exaggerated, but usually even from my personal art history classes, you realize that a memento mori can literally be the presence of a flower. This is a memento mori with flowers. Well, the skull is there, but stuff like this can be considered memento mori just because of the presence of the flower. Because flowers decay faster, right? Well, no, they know some flowers decay like different speeds. You know, like we're not gonna get all political into the flowers here, but what is it? It's essentially just the sense of like, in Renaissance, and if you hear that, I'm just moving some stuff. But in a Renaissance painting, the inclusion of a floral thing in your still life painting would just be a sort of reminder of death, right? Reminder that you will not live forever. And so this is just a piece built on that, and it's like putting the floral works in the center stage essentially just emphasizes, at least to me, the memento mori aspect of it, right? The reminder of death aspect of it, but also we have to pay attention to the lighting, just because some of these pictures are pretty well lit in sort of like a happy, blissful, warm tone, right? Not a dark tone, not a cold tone either. So that needs to be noted as well. But you know how we do it. It says 3, so the sizes of this is 3,648 pixels by 5,472 pixels, which is quite big. Really good quality. You can tell immediately by when you zoom in, and you can tell it's like you can see what's in focus and what's not pretty clearly. It's like the focal length on this is actually pretty sharp, because they're sort of very close together. This is blurry, right? And this is not. This is quite in focus, and so that's it shows the skill here. Let me remove the backdrop as always, but it shows the sort of skill that the photographer has, that they're able to, like, you know, with that little difference of distance still capture this as sharp, and all of this sort of, and even let's go down here, right? All of this, and still, and to some extent some of these, but in the back here they get a bit blurry, right? But then there's quite a, like, all this to say there's like quite a very nice sense of depth that's technically well achieved just through photographic means, you know, which is in sort of like a photo like this, it's sort of hard to do just because everything sort of blends together, right? These can sort of, the eye can sort of like get disoriented, but with the right focus, you can actually sort of lead the eye, right? And your eye will immediately realize, oh, this is out of focus. This is not that important. Either move up here and you'll hit these focused flower and flow into the branch, or you'll go the other way and hit this focused flower and flow up, and then you enter through here. Alright, because your eye will go into this flower, go into there, or go into here. And so it's like there's quite a nice visual loop happening, right? It's like your eye will go, you know, it's quite nice. I wish we knew the flowers that were in the photos, because flowers have quite a symbolic meaning to it, right? So it's like dahlia flower, for example, meaning, right? Dahlia symbolism is rich symbolism. The flower stands for wealth and elegance, and also a flower of love and involvement, right? Lotus meaning, for example, lotus flower is regarded as in many different cultures, especially in Eastern symbol, as a symbol of purity, enlightenment, self-regeneration, and rebirth, right? And so all these flowers have their own iconic symbolism within different cultures and different texts, but we unfortunately have no clue towards what this is. Just, I mean, I don't know what tulips look like. Well, no, tulips, these are not tulips. I know, because Canada has a shit ton of tulip festival. Well, Canada has a tulip festival every year. It's actually quite nice. But yeah, I wish I could know. This maybe feels like a rose or an orchid. I have no idea. But it's quite nice, and it's like, again, this horse series seems to be, you know, just fixated on depicting, you know, the flowers, but also let's not forget the voyages. The voyages from the atelier, the painting atelier to the photo studio, because I think we actually might start to see some of that. I'm going back to the first photo, but in the background, this might be like the studio, painting studio itself. Right, the backgrounds themselves feel very painterly in a sense. And the color usage, right? And so there is that element. Sorry, I was just checking if my cat jumped on my chair. And then I believe, so this one is 3,388 pixels by 5,081 pixels. And again, once we zoom in, it's quite good. Again, I wish, like, I quite like these, right? They're, like, technically, like, technique-wise, they're actually amazing, right? The fact that these are in focus, but not even the fucking branches in focus, right? Like, the level of depth within that work is nice, but I wish I knew what these flowers were, because it feels like the work is lacking that element within it, you know? A good description never fucking deters from the work, and I myself am learning that about my work, where it's like I'm starting to think, man, I might need to start including a bit of like more in-depth descriptions, just because, you know, it just helps the reader understand where the work is coming from. And it's like, if the point of the work is to, for example, leave the information vague enough, that's sort of understandable. But at some point, the work a little bit turns into like, when it's sort of still lifes like this, it just turns into like more of an aesthetic thing, right? Now, if you're aware of what the symbolism of still lifes is, momentum and memento moris, you can apply that sort of thematic thing to all the works, right? Just like I did earlier in the video. But men and women's, I believe, to those listening, I wish, you know, and I wish even just to those watching, we would find out what these flowers were. Oh. Just because it's just like, it's like the work just stops, at least for me. It's like, it stops at just like the knowledge of what these are. It is quite nice though. It's, all the flowers seems to be outreaching, if that makes sense, right? Reaching outside of the photo. We're trying to reach outside of the photo. In the frame, right? Extending out, which is quite nice. It's quite a nice feeling in the work. Also, I really like the the orange and the blue tones within the work. It's actually quite nice. But you see, like, yeah, that's where the work stops. Like, let me zoom in a little bit more. See if we can get any. Let's see if we can see like any good noise or grain. It's the thing, like, I think that might be just me fucking up my own stylist, like, just because I've been looking at a certain style for so long, but, and also film photography for so long, but it's like, I feel that digital photography, to this day at least, when it's making it on NFTs, like, a way to separate it, and this is just not me talking shit, this is just me, like, saying my own personal preference about the work, and it just, I'm also saying that preference just because, you know, there isn't a lot that we can talk about the work, but it's, you know, it's like, the film grain adds quite a nice visual aspect to the work, and it would, I've realized just through my usage of Photoshop trying to emulate grain, for example, right, sometimes it helps sharpen some of the elements within the work, and like also brighten some of the, like, bolden some of the colors. And I think, I mean, personally, it would have been cool, but that's not the stylistic choice or the aesthetic choice that the photographer, you know, Condo has chosen. So again, right, these are very technically well taken, like, not in photography, especially with flower photography, right, because some of them can like reflect light in weird ways and shit. A lot of people tend to like overexpose or underexpose their photos, especially with flower photography, and so to not have any, like, this is probably like, these are the whitest areas in the work, right? The highlights are bright, but they're not too bright where it's like, you know, it overtakes the work. It's actually very nice, like very well dispersed tonal values, good contrast, right? Not overexposed and not underexposed. This feels a bit if it's moving, it just could be just, or it could be just the blurriness, because of the sense of depth and how sharp and how good the focal length is, sort of on the camera they're using. Yeah, so this is still life 2, December 2021. Okay. Ooh. The life 3. I always scroll assuming there will be a description. So the size of this is 3,492 pixels by 5,238 pixels. This is immediately a little bit more of an intrusive, well, not intrusive, sorry, a personal picture, you can tell, just because of the presence of the Polaroid book and the magnifying glass. I would personally tie that to sort of like childhood not obsession, but like, you know, childhood fascination with art and art creation that then leads the artist down, you know, down the artistic path, right? And so we can sort of apply a little more of a personal reading the work, just because, you know, or I'm applying it just because like I also myself as a kid was fascinated not only by magnifying glasses but what they could do, right? And so I would go through books using them and stuff, right? And in certain art books, it would be helpful to look through them with the magnifying glass, especially right in 2000, 2010 printing qualities. They're good, but you know, all that jazz. And so you can tell this work at least it's a reminder to life. You know, again, I'm very persistent on the memento mori thing, but other than that, it's also just telling you sort of where the fascination. At least personally, that's how I view it. And you see this grain? Oh Lord. What happened to the rest of it? Why is just this so I think this just might be noise applied in post production. I don't know. Hold on. I like to think I'm pretty good at telling if noise filters have been applied. But the last, the quality. What's the thing you realize about Foundation is, unfortunately, we're still dealing with 50 megabyte upload limits on Foundation. So if you are in any way a good photographer, your files are too big for Foundation immediately. So they're all JPEGs for a reason. Because just even a PNG, you can't export like different quality PNGs, not at least on Photoshop. The size, how you want to make it smaller, the PNG and the detail, most of the well, actually you can do quality. I think maybe, bro, I might be capping right now. Holy shit. I know before the newest update they used to have to do that, but also like I realized with PNGs like you might have to fucking, what is it, like scale down. You might have to scale down the PNGs just to get a reduced file. Why is my taskbar not going up? Come on. This thing is just like, this is all right. I'm gonna test it out. I'm just testing it out live real quick. So export PNG. So this is a little edit I was just doing for fun for Mocha, but so export as, okay, no, PNG. Yeah, the sort of quality option disappears now. I think it used to be there for PNGs before, but the only way to sort of reduce this right here is to go down the scale, and that reduces the image size. But also it reduces the pixels, which is fucking ass. So we unfortunately have to deal with some limitations still on Foundation, right? And so this might be also one of the reasons, right? You have to, that we're not getting this good of a quality, is because it's a JPEG, right? And JPEGs still themselves lose so much quality. Like literally the moment you turn an image into a JPEG, it just loses so much quality. It's fucking crazy. Like you show that to a teacher anywhere, they'll be like, no, PNGs or TIFFs, you know, just because of, and it's not like, oh, we don't like JPEGs. It's literally just because it's the quality thing. You can immediately tell the difference between a JPEG and a PNG, just detail wise, right? And so, yeah, it's you see here like the noise is quite nice. Like this sort of sense of grain is really nice. I don't know why it disappears on the outside, but it's also here, but it's not here. This is just a somewhat weird photo, right? But Android Kurtz, the Polaroids, right, magnifying glass, you can see it. Whoa, Brave, thank you. Right, like you can, it's like the noise just ends. Oh, and then I just noticed this. That's a flower in the background right there. Right, so that's well, that might not be a flower. That might just be again, right? Because this is paint from the voyages from the painting studio to the photo studio, right? This could be again a painted background that they have done, which uses burnt sienna and sorry, burnt oh my god, I'm blanking it out. I need to paint again. What is it, like yellow ochre and burnt umber, you know, and stuff like that. Norton, I don't know who Norton is, but yeah, we will move on to the fourth word. Still life number 4. This one, I think it's one of the different ones, just because of how different the background is and how warm it is compared to the others, but also because sort of it's like a singular flower. It's the sort of first singular flower we see within the series. And again, I will repeat this as many times, so those listening know. Include descriptions, y'all. We would have gotten a much deeper level of understanding to this work if we know what even those flowers meant. Because we could have just googled the symbolism and just been like, oh, okay, this could have been these, you know? And that immediately applies another level of depth, just artistic works, but it do be like that sometimes. And so here it's more apparent that it's the mixture of the painting studio and the photo studio, because this is definitely a painted background, right? I can see the paint marks. I can see like thicker paint. I would even say like, oh, some gesso or stuff, but that just literally looks like just thicker paints. I have a painting right on my wall right now that I'm working on, slow as fuck, but it has the very sort of like these, not these very same, but you know, textures exactly like that all over it, right? And these bits and dots and all that. And then so when you zoom in, oh, hey yo, excuse me, I just got the hiccups for no reason. Oh, that's quite a furry flower. It's like a weird, I think it's the light reflecting off this. Oh, and the noise thing happens again. What is it? Oh, I think, okay, they might just actually be applying this in post. Which is like, it's cool, but once you zoom in and you realize the difference, it's just like it's just a stark difference. But anyways, you can sort of see a little bit of some light reflection in the back there. I was like, oh, is there like a glow filter on there? But no, not really. And so this is quite nice, right? It's like the vase in the painting studio. There is white paint on it. One would even be like, oh, that might be gesso. And then this is the flower. Oh. Sort of. None of it is actually. This isn't bad for this photo because it actually works really well. I think it's just because of the amount of depth within the petals themselves. Just fucks with the camera's focal length. Isn't too big to get all that, or maybe she's just focusing on the stem because that's the one that seems most in sharp, right? Like, boy, can you see that fucking like fur fucking thing, whatever the fuck you call that? I don't know what it's called on plants. I apologize to botanists. You'll get us to Mars, though. I believe in you. But this is quite ethereal. I'm not gonna lie, just like staring at this has a very quite like movie poster ethereal sense. And like Cynical's work, who we have looked at earlier, sort of this almost feels like this little just square here would be taken out, messed with, you know, like some heat maps, some gradient maps, noise everywhere. Although the noise here doesn't actually bother the eye as much as by the vase, like this, and then the lack of noise in the background. But also I don't. Maybe it is just natural texture. I don't know. It's so well done here, and then down there, excuse the scrolling, it just seems to abruptly stop. But that could also be just the focus, like the distance. But also photography just applies noise like normally, even in digital photos. Like the noise, like if there's like sort of a grain element or whatever, it gets applied to the whole photo, you know. But again, the center of the flower is quite nice, and it's like Because of how blurry, well, not how blurry it is, but because of its like a little bit of blurriness, um, it feels as if there's a nice sense of movement within it, you know, which is quite nice, right? And again, it's like my brain goes like, oh, dude, you can apply some heat maps to this, and it would be crazy, right? But it's like that already like looks quite ethereal, you know, and I really like that. And like when you zoom in, it's like, hey, like this doesn't really have a full sense of momentum mori to it, right? It's like you can see where the work now doesn't fully like that. Like this work, we're starting to see where, you know, because I'm going through these live with you guys right now, we get to see that sort of the sense of momentum mori is still there, but it's not as strong and maybe work 4. And again, it's very well lit, very technically well lit, and very well taken. I've seen this flower so many times. That's a lily, isn't it? Lily flower. That is not a lily. Is that it? No. Is that an orchid? Orchid flower. Well, I think we found out what's in photo 1 in the background there. Orchids. Maybe moth orchids. What's the orchid symbolism? I'm curious. Symbolism. Orchids, the most highly coveted or ornamental plant is the delicate, exotic, and graceful orchid of Okay, wow. Jeez, you're not even describing the flower yet, Jeez. Love, luxury, beauty, and strength. In ancient Greece, they were associated with virility. Okay. Whoever wrote this is trying to fish. They're fishing. Vanilla orchids? Nope. I don't know why we're staring at flowers right now. Also, what happened to the music? Royalty free. Alright. Sorry. I have to. That shit gets claimed so quick now. It's actually crazy. But anyways, so I wish I knew what this flower. I need to get a flower degree or something. Oh, you see this? See what I mean by the noise? Like, and the grain, how it's nice everywhere. Like, look at this. This is how it should be in all the works, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Condo, but I apologize. But you can lay down the same critiques on me when you stare at my works. But just because the uniformness of the grain and the texture is so well, it's just like, oh, man. Oh, like, whoa, excuse me. Yeah, this music is banging right now. We out here staring at plants about to take over cyberpunk. But look at this. It had so much nice, like, texture to the work. Immediately. Also, you could sort of see the depth. Wow. That's a really good camera. That you're able to see the different tonality within this little petal, the seed, I guess, or the one with the the pollen. Right, but again, this is very nice. You know, you got some good rim lighting going on right here. We know who. Shout out, Metakey art director Billy. You know, rim lighting is the deal. It's the thing. You know, it's also not overexposed at all, right? You would think because it's white it'd be overexposed, but it's not. It's actually very well lit. Where even this is not too bright. No, maybe. Yeah, I'm looking at the other screen. It's not too bright at all, actually. It's quite nice, and it has this sort of nice bluish tint to it. Out of all of these, honestly, this sort of has like the most. Oh, excuse me. Here, let me reset. This has like the sort of most graceful sense within the work. I don't know how you guys feel, but it just. I think it's like even though Still Life 5 and Still Life 2, Still Life 2 were all Still Life 4 and Still Life 2 were singular flowers. This still feels very graceful. I don't know. I think it might just be like the ratio of like white and yellow tones to green, and just the simple fact that like plants with the really good light, with the like good lighting, can look very fucking nice. Especially greenery can look very nice in the studio sort of lighting, which is exactly this. So I really quite like it. I'm gonna ask for more details, though. We need the details. You know how it would be. uh, yeah, it's because it's just like, it literally feels like, man, every it's like you're hitting a wall, you know, and it's like, ooh, now this is a nice one. What is this one? So this one is 3,648 by 4,864. Blue flowers. Oh, get that noise. Oh my god. Yo, look at that noise. Grain noise, whatever you call this. This feels like it's Photoshop noise. Who knows, maybe? Who knows? But just look at how good this is. Like, oh, man. You always have to appreciate good noise. I know I sound like the weirdest fucking dude right now, but literally, it's like, you know, seeing what's going on in work, still life 1 and still life 2, right? Like seeing it all uniform, touch every sort of part of the work. It's actually very nice. It's visually pleasing. It's just like, it's very smooth in a sense. I don't know why. I think it's literally, I think it's also because I myself have been staring at a lot of like ethereal based works that utilize a lot of noise textures and stuff. Then I'm really liking this, but it just, it's like the way the noise here is emulated is very different from, or it's actually because of its present state, right? You're now I'm now very keenly sort of aware of, like, at least now we're just as we're talking, right? You don't, you know, like, this isn't like an everyday thing, but right, you now looking at this, like, I'm very aware of like the lags that a digital camera has, right? Because this, again, this photography entering the NFT space is gonna need to find a way to differentiate itself just from like normal social media photos, right? Because both are oriented towards completely different sort of streams and aspects, and you know, one has become over flooded with, you know, the over usage of phones. And while you can get really good photos on phones, believe me, I use my own photos taken on phones in the photo edits that I've been posting, just because it's like the limitation of using your phone's quite good, but also you realize, yo, you can't get this grain. You feel me? Cameras can get this sort of grain, and digital cameras sort of have emulators, or if you're shooting at a low ISO or like some like not too bright conditions or whatever, you can sort of get the grain as well. But you know, like, I'm starting to really believe that the grain is going to be one of the deciding factors in like how photography makes its play in the NFT space, just because like it's been sort of infused with almost every big artistic sort of movement. Sorry, not artistic, but like photographic stylistic movement within the space, right? Like if you look at Justin Aversano's works, his medium formats and his large format have noise and like that grain, right? You look at the ethereal sort of heat map style that's developing, it has grain, right? Post internet art utilizes noise and grain. Vaporwave now, in some sense, utilizes not only noise and grain, but it also utilizes circuit bending, you know, and like image glitching. So it's a lot of good mediums, and a lot of very texture heavy mediums that, you know, allow this work to be thoroughly enjoyed. In this case, it's just noise, but again, look how nice this looks. Holy fuck. This is just pleasant. This is just very pleasant to look at. Like, honestly. Like, I'm just staring at it. It's just like a very visually pleasing photo. And like just this, oh, and the gradient, right? The color tone, deep purple, sort of like, you know, reddish purple, bluish purple, like, oh my god. And even here, look at this tonal shift, like orange, right? The inside, like, and the sort of blurriness works so well. Oh, yo. It's actually crazy how this is a little bit more colorful in the center here, but because that's in shadow. That's also very nice. And the hairs are like, I don't know what you call these on flowers, but very nice as well. Yeah, this is actually, I think this might be one of the best works in the collection, honestly. Like, no cap. Still Life 6, goddamn. Oh, never mind. Hold up. We're gonna pause right there. I take that back. We're gonna find out after we finish. Never mind. We're gonna find out after we finish. So this is Still Life 7, 3,648 by 5,472. And it's sort of got the same noise. Not as sharp, though. What's going on? Excuse me? Thank you. You see? Oh, it's a bit blurred. Well, hold on. Yeah, the noise is a bit blurred out in this. It's like... There's like a nice reflective light happening here, but it just... When you zoom in... I think this might be slightly out of focus, actually. Is that, or just like the quality of the photo didn't export properly? Or it's also just could be the noise, but I don't know. It's like something's weird with this one. And it's like you can be like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? This isn't focus. Like, this is in focus. This sharpness right here, that's focused. Alright, this sort of sharpness right here, that's focused. That's a very thin focus line. Holy shit. Like, that's focused. Alright, but... like these right here. I think, like, I might be capping also. Like, some other photographer might be like, nah, Anubis, you fucking capping right now, bro. I don't know. Listen. See how sharp that is compared to, like, how not sharp that is? I don't know. Again, this could just literally be a JPEG quality thing, like, right? The photo, like, the size limitation thing actually hurts the photos quite a lot. Like, believe me, my photos, my current Duat project, the actual photos themselves can go up to half a gig. To a gig, right? It's like, I do my shit 18K by 18K pixels, right? Hey, my cat just jumped on the chair if you heard that. And it's like I have to downsize it to 1343 or something by 1343, and that's a JPEG because of, and it's not a JPEG exported as like the best quality because I can't. Foundation doesn't have the fucking size, and I also the size limit, and I already don't want to scale down the work even further, you know, and so it's like. This literally could just be like, oh, because it's a JPEG and the quality of this one, maybe too much visual data or too much editing has happened within the work, you know. It's quite a shame. Like, it's like, look at this. Oh. And then, you see? Something's different. Something's different. Even that blurry, something's different. You feel me? But. So, I just closed my bed. This one right here. We're gonna move on to the last one. I'm a little disappointed. I was like, this might be the best one in there, but so far, still number 6 is the best one. Um, yeah, so still number 8. Yeah, so this one is the dark, is like, I think it's the darkest tone one. I also don't know what these flowers are. And yeah, so size is 3,648 by 4,864. Okay. Hey, yo, what the fuck? Excuse me? Is that what's in focus? What's in focus? Is it? So this one is not in focus at all. Um, that's weird, yo. Wow. It could be a stylistic choice. See, a description would have helped in a case like this. Because now I don't know if this is a JPEG problem. I don't know if the artist didn't fully notice. They probably did. Like, no way you do not notice how like, this is more on like it's starting to feel like as if it's more of a stylistic choice, but we'd have let to know that if it was for sure or not, right? Because everything else, like all the flowers are so focused, and then you get this really high quality image, like insane quality image, and then we get this one with like weird noise around it. Something weird going on, yo. And again, it's like 6,048 by. They're the same uniform size. So this might actually be an editing thing, maybe. I don't know, or a JPEG exporting thing. I'm not too sure, but like the one, like I like this body of work. I like it a lot. I think it's quite a nice body of work. Still number 6. This one right here is my favorite work in the whole series, but excuse me. Oh. Excuse me. Yeah. I don't know what just happened to my voice, but it just like it seems there's weird stuff going on with the styles and like the grain and the sharpness, right? And it's like there's nothing wrong with switching up styles here. Like I'll use myself an example again, but this is actually gonna be a useful example, I promise. Here, let me keep. So on this one here, the first work I did, I decided to include screen tones. Bless you, Gergamo, the creator of what is it? Holy, why am I blanking on it? Paperback World. Sorry, there's been a lot of things happening in this space. I'll talk about it at the end of the stream. Right, and then here I'll second this one. Bless you, is Tina Jones. Also, she's the second person to pick up works here. But if you click on the IPFS, and I click on the IP, you can see it takes a while to load just because of the size. And if you click on the IPFS here, and I'm just gonna close these, you're gonna see a bit of a stylistic difference immediately. If there we go. So if I zoom in here, for example, now these are GANs, so they're a bit weird. But you see, this is the screen tone pattern I was going for, right? And I had like done some edits visual edits that you could do, like color shifts and whatever the fuck. And then here, when you zoom in, for example, I realized, oh, I can just use the noise. Now the cool thing is the noise is still present here, but from afar, you know, and from close, like you don't lose that much detail on the work, and it's not like so wildly different in like weird, not wildly different in weird ways, but it's just like in the sense of like, yeah, here there are 2 different textures utilized, but you know, they're all uniform in the sense they're all sharp, right? All the images are all the same size, and so when I was doing them, I used, you know, the noise layers are all the same size, and so here we're not getting the same size of the gray, and we're not getting the same size of the noise or anything, and it's like, it's weird because like even though with like with the downgraded quality that you get with JPEGs, like I've noticed, like the noise still remains pretty consistent throughout the whole photo. You know, unless there's a lot of detail that the JPEG loses, like it still remains very consistent. So some stuff is like weirdly inconsistent about these photos, and I don't know. It's a bit sad because it's really good work. It's really good, like it's a really nice body of work. But it's just like some weird stuff is happening when you zoom in. Um, and then maybe her other work isn't like that. Here, let me. Oh, that's just being formed. This one here, for example. Let's see. So this one I can tell is just the quality, right? That's just the JPEG because of how uniform it is. You see, like the noise is just perfectly uniform. That I can tell. Oh, this is sort of, you know, a bit blurry. This could be a film photo or whatever. But it's also the JPEG quality here is what's like sort of reducing this. But in the other ones, it's like it's not as easy to tell what's going on. But yeah. Anyways, there are still really great artists. I mean, like this photo right here is fucking insane. So, nonetheless, go check them out. Go support them because I still think like, you know, this might be just literally a limitation of the tech, or they didn't realize what was going on, right? And like those stylistic differences like only hurt work 8, like at least, like, you know, visibly hurt work 8. All the other works, and even work 8 to an extent, if you're not zooming in too close, you won't notice the noise and shit, and so it's not that bad. And yeah, but yeah, go. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I was gonna be like, what do I do? Do I do the outro, and do I do the go? What do I do? You guys go support them, go follow them, go say hi, go buy their work if you like it. So far they're still a really great artist utilizing photography. And yeah, sorry, it's like if you've been noticing him a bit, like, whoa, I've been saying some of the weird stuff. It's like this space we had what crypto skulls pumped like the weirdest fucking thing 3 days ago or some shit, and so it's been like I've been trying to keep up with that, with what's happening, and so it's been a lot of stuff in the last 2 days. Just like seeing what's going on with that, it's just crazy. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's artist breakdown. I really did. Then again, work 6 is fucking. It's too fucking good. Go follow them. Go follow them. Regardless of the noise discrepancies, go fucking follow them. I say this while I do not follow them. I apologize. I literally, again, I just like found their work today, but if you enjoyed this and would like to get in contact with me, you can tag me in the Metakey Discord and the Duat Residency channel over there, and I'll respond to you. And if you'd like to get in contact with me over on socials, you can tag me at Anubis_3100 right there on Twitter, and I'll respond to you. I'm pretty responsive over there. But again, anyway, you hopefully. But again, anyways, perfect English sentence. Let's go. Let's go. Anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this stream. I really did, and I will see you guys in the Sunday stream. Bye.